everybody, and welcome to this edition of Hardman Talks. I'm pleased to be joined today by Jason Sayers, who's the Chief Executive of Filta plc. Jason, shall we start by just briefly describing what Filta does?
Yeah, hi Keith. So we're a commercial kitchen service company, and we specialise in fryer management and grease management. So we operate in the UK, North America, and Germany. We established in '96, and we're listed on the AIM market in 2016. So our core business is Filta Fry. So you see a commercial kitchen there on the screen. Our core business is Filta Fry, cooking oil filtration and fryer management service. That's our the largest business we have. So commercial kitchens have problems with high quality of food. They use a lot of cooking oil there, have dirty fryers, etc. So what we do is we come in, we have a machine, we suck the oil out of the fryers, we clean the fryers, we pump the oil back in so they can reuse it, saving the customer the money basically. So we started that business in the UK and then grew it in the States significantly to a stage where we're up to around $70 million annual revenue. That's our franchise owners doing that revenue. That's provided through a franchise network, both in the UK, Germany, and primarily in the US. The rest of our business is company owned in the UK. So Filta Fog, so those same customers, the kitchens, have oil fog, the fats, oil and greases that go down the drains from sinks and washing up. And that causes fatbergs. So we put units under sinks that separate oil and water, stop the oil going down the drain, stop the fatbergs forming, so it recovers it and cleans the water. So we install the units and then go back quarterly, etc., to service them. Another business, again, same customer base, Filta Seal. We help replace seals in fridges in restaurants. So we bought a patent to some equipment that allows us to turn up on site, measure the seal, go back in the van, make it there and fit it all in one visit. So we have big customers such as Tesco's, etc. in the UK, use us for that. And two smaller parts of our business are pump stations and vent. Again, same customer base. But really about 50% of our business is US based, and it's Filta Fry service, our fryer management service.
Thank you. Right. Now, what we really want to get to in this Hardman Talks is behind you as an entrepreneur, because obviously it's quite critical in this business. It's a business that you founded, the business that you've grown substantially. So I guess the first question would be, how did you come across the idea of Filta Fry?
So I live in the States now, but used to live in the UK and used to play cricket. And one of my guys bowled, and funny enough, living in the States, I describe cricket to Americans as baseball, but a lot more interesting. And they kind of get it then. But one of my bowlers came in and he burnt his hands, and I was down a bowler and said, how did you do that? And he'd been cleaning out fryers in a kitchen. And he was describing it to me. It's kind of the lowest paid job in a kitchen. People go in there, clean the fryers, it's hot oil, and they burn themselves. So I was just young at the time. I was just come out of university and thought there's got to be a safer way of doing this. Why not take the oil out from the top of the fryer? So it's safety, it was the initial idea. Then I thought, why not filter it to reuse it? So I went to a hydraulic oil filtration company in Harrogate, who still make the machines today, and said, can you change what you do to suit the food industry? So they did. They came up with a Filta Fry machine, and originally went to sell machines. And I met a franchise consultant at a show in London who said he's involved with lots of restaurants. We have filtration machines. No, we buy them. Guy gets trained, he leaves, no one knows how to use them, and we stop using the machines. I think there's a need for a service. So bought a van, put ramps in, started servicing customers, and very quickly filled them up. There was a need for a service. And really that's how it started. And I met with my partner, Victor Clues, then a business partner who had years of experience in franchising. So we went the franchising route on the business.
So you started off going to the kitchens yourself, did you, and doing the?
Yeah. I used to service the kitchens, and there are, you haven't seen the service, but we take the oil out of the fryers. We now have a vacuum system that then vacs all the pieces out of the fryer, deals with it all nicely. Didn't have that in the early days. So I was shoveling it all out by hand, disgustingly dirty. And that's when the service took shape. I contacted a company in Italy who had high temperature vacs. We bought those in. And we still use the same vac company. We import now vacuums from Italy by the container load into the US. We just had one delivered last week. was 300 VACs coming in. So yes, I did do the service, and that's really how it took shape, was being on the ground doing it for the first period.
That's fantastic. At such a young
Wasn't at the
age as
time.
well. But so you're obviously very entrepreneurial. Was this your first idea, or was it the 100th? And were there 99 before that failed, or?
When I was at school, every holidays I would do something. I remember my father had a jet spray machine, common now, back then not so common. I borrowed that and starting a jet spray service every summer, cleaning patios for people. I was always quite entrepreneurial. Coming out of university, I developed a golf scorer. So I'm very systems orientated. My degree is systems analysis, so I think that way. That didn't work. One of my sayings is, if you fail quickly, and it failed. Then this came up, and as you've heard, really, I started that business, and I've been in it ever since. So not too many ideas. Within Filta, I've had lots of ideas, and some of those have worked and some of them haven't. But really quite early on, I had Filta.
And when you started out with this, was this a complete risk, or were you doing this on the side for a while you had another job and drawing a salary, or did you just go straight into it and risk everything?
I went straight into it. Very fortunate. My dad had a construction company and nursing home company, so I had the backing of my father, which I'm fortunate with that. Backed me all the way. It wasn't very expensive to start up, and it's one of the reasons we took the route of franchising. Is you can use that to fund the expansion that we had. So, we used some funding from my father to start with, grew through the UK. One thing is probably never told: we came to the States in 2003. We started it with 100 grand, and we've never borrowed in the States. So we built the business here doing 70 million on 100 grand in that first year. So it's been good. But that's the entrepreneurial side. Enjoy that.
That's fabulous. And then many entrepreneurs start a business. They find an idea, they start a business. Maybe they've got their own van out on the road, but getting the second one, or getting somebody else to work with them independently, is tricky. How did that work for you?
I think as we took the franchise route, easier, because that's built in. You create systems initially, and that's kind of how my mind works, is create systems up front. It takes longer, but then you can replicate it easier. I was fortunate. I met with Victor Clues, my partner, who had years of experience in franchising, so he brought that to the table as well. And the standardization of everything taught us that's the way to do. So it makes expansion easier. I think in terms of, I was young, so I didn't have any preconceived ideas on how things should be done. Taking advice from other people was pretty easy back then.
And then, so you get past your first van, to your second, third, fourth, through franchisees, etc. The business goes on growing. It goes international. Normally, that means you've got to start to employ specialists in areas. What is it they say? Once you get to 70 people, you need a full-time HR specialist and all the rest of it. But in my experience, many entrepreneurs find it really difficult to let go of every detail, because obviously they know more than anybody else about everything in their business at that stage. How did you meet that challenge?
I'm kind of not the smartest man in the room most of the time, so that's handy. Leaving the UK, we had Roscoe Jurozovic, who was our commercial director, took over in the UK. So I had years' experience in the business first, so that was nice, leaving the business in the UK with Roscoe. Coming to the States, I think I'm very systems orientated. So we grew systems. We had a operating officer here, Tom Dunn, who's now CEO of the business in the States. So he grew with the business. And I'm quite happy letting go of things. I get bored quite easily. I like going on to new projects. The hardest bit is finding good people to continue to run with the existing things. And I do try things. I try new things. We as a business try new things quite quickly. And fail quickly is the key to business. If you're going to do something, we've all done stuff in the business that hasn't worked, but you want to think big and fail quickly on stuff and move on. I think I work in that area of change, and then have people take the projects or the businesses and then run them well and execute well. How good am I giving it up? I'm okay. I'm better than I used to be, and it's all about getting the right people. Then you're more comfortable doing it.
Or people you can trust, and you've got
People you can trust obviously just from a trust point of view, but trust to execute as well. And the hardest thing is, I always say, as long as they do more, they're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes, they make mistakes too. As long as they make more good decisions than they make bad decisions, they're always learning, then they get better. No one's perfect, and that's probably the thing for me to learn is over the years is they're not going to do it perfectly. They're not going to do it the way I would either, but sometimes they do it a lot better, and they can have better answers for things and grow it in their own way.
And the business went on growing, and you decided to list the company. Now, there's another set of challenges because there's a whole new regime of requirements you've got to meet, and advisors you've got to engage with. How did you find that process?
So I found the process really interesting to start with. Enjoyed it. We were due to float right when Brexit happened, so it all didn't help matters. We had to delay it slightly, but so we realised, we're not from the city. We're very operational. The piece we missed was the city experience. So we went out to find a non-exec chairman who really had that experience to help us through that. And that's been really good for us because it's allowed us to get on with the business, pop my head up when we do the results and this type of thing. But really, I'm involved in the business day to day still in running that. But the actual process of IPOing, we used Senkos, and they helped us and were very good. Enjoyed the shareholders. I love their feedback. They're all very supportive, and it's been a good process. I think, obviously, and I would say to people, when times are good, it's a great place to be. When times are not so good, you're airing all your laundry out there with everybody. So it has its ups and downs, but generally enjoyed it.
Okay, so final question, Jason, following up on that. So if you're another entrepreneur and you're contemplating floating, what sort of advice would you give to them?
I think, as I say, one thing we did, under promise and over deliver. That's the key. And we knew our business inside out. We did that continually for a few years, and it was a great place to be. We did a couple of small acquisitions, and they went fine. We did a big acquisition, and we had issues with it, and set us back for about a year doing that. But as I say, everyone sees that happening live, and it's tough. It has some challenges, that business, which we fixed. COVID then hit. Now, COVID's been for everybody, not just us. So that's something was unavoidable. But we reacted pretty well. But the piece where we bought What Bio, it did knock us a bit. I think, we're back on now setting expectations there, and over delivering is where we want to be. And that would be my advice. Whatever you do, set your expectations and over deliver, and you'll be great with the city.
Jason, thank you for sparing the time. That's a really interesting insight into your history and the motivation around the business. If you're watching this and you want to know more about Filta, you can go obviously to the Filta website, but you can also read some research from Hardman on our website about the company. We've written regularly about it in the last couple of years. And we look forward to seeing you again on the next edition of Hardman Talks. Thank you very much.